Well, hello friends, this is Dave from Dave's Raised Bed Garden. I'm out here on the patio today. Yes, I'm not in my garden today. As you know, last week, you may not know, and some of them may know, that last week I had to have a total right knee replacement, and I'm not able to be down in the garden like I want to. And so I'm having to be out here on the patio. It's such a beautiful morning this morning. The weather's nice and cool and everything. I think it's about 60 degrees now. It was in the high 50s last night, and it's just so pretty. I love being out here in the morning because I get to see the hummingbirds coming to the feeder. I get to see the other birds, the bees going to my flowers, and it's just watching nature come to life. And that's the reason I've come out here today, is that, you know, having my knee surgery and everything, I'm not a patient person, and I'm a person that always wants to do and everything. And I was trying to figure out something that I could do that I knew that even the day that I had my surgery and when I got done, I was thinking about my garden. I was thinking about what I needed to do. Actually, when I came home from the hospital and everything, I hadn't even been home 2 days. I asked my wife to drive me down to the garden, and so I could see the garden. So that just tells you a little bit about, you know, how impatient I am at times. But at this time and everything, I was trying to figure out what I could do to occupy my time, but also a way that it would increase my gardening experience and whatever I was able to do. And that's when I came across, and I've been seeing a lot about it, and I've read a lot about it and everything. I've just never done it, and now I have. It's container gardening. You see this nice tomato plant that I've planted in this container. And what is container gardening? Basically, it's any container or any object that you find that you want to use, and actually put soil in there and put a plant in there and then grow it, and then this little container becomes a garden. And so it's a container garden, and that's what I wanted to share with you a little bit about, and that's one thing that I wanted to talk to you. Why do I think container gardening is a good way to go? Number one is I know there's a lot of people that can't get out, that just like what I was talking about, that can't get out and do a garden because of health reasons and so forth. It takes more work, and it would be just a waste of your time, because you'd spend more time trying to get to the garden and trying to do it, and then trying to recoup for what you did the day before or whatever, that it wouldn't be feasible for you. Second thing is that I think it's because you don't have a place that you can put a garden. And then, you know, and then the third thing is just it takes time when you work a garden. It really takes a lot of time and everything. And until you get that garden established, it's even more so you're constantly down there. So those three things, or those things, can kind of comprehend you. And then what it does is it just says, you know, I just don't have the time, I don't want to do it. But container gardening is very easy to do. Number one is that it doesn't take a lot of space. This container is a 7-gallon container. It's not heavy. I can move it from place to place. Plus, I don't have to have a plot of land to put it on. I can have a porch, I can have an area that I can put it on, a shelf and so forth, and I can put it out there. The only equivalent thing that I need for a vegetable garden, I need at least 6 hours of sunlight. And that means constant sunlight that we're at 6 hours. You say, well, David, one side of my property or one side of my porch I do, and the other side, it's later on. Well, the neat thing about container gardening, it's easy to move. Give an example. If I go to work in the morning, and let's say that I go to work and I know that the north end of my patio gets the sunlight, and then I come back, and then let's say I get off work and the other side, guess what? I can move that container over to the other side. And that gives me that time, and I'm going to get equivalent of 6 hours of sunlight. Now, I may not get it for the full time, but I'm going to get 6 hours, and that vegetable is going to do okay. So it's very easy to move around. The third thing is that what I think is that most importantly is in a garden, and the way the weather is today and everything, we just never know. I mean, it would surprise me if I looked at the Weather Channel and they said that this week that we're going to have temperatures in the 40s. It would not surprise me. It's just the weather's ever changing and everything. But these are warm weather plants. Now you have cool weather and warm weather, but these are warm weather plants, excuse me. And they require warm weather. Now we've had the temperatures in the high 50s, which it's okay. But if the weatherman came on and said that next week that we're going to have a cold front, the high temperatures are going to be in the 50s, and at night the temperatures are going to be in the 40s, this plant wouldn't be able to survive, and I would have to cover it up. With container gardening, I can do that very easily. Meaning is I can take it inside my house. If I have a greenhouse, I can put it in the greenhouse, or even I can check the temperatures up on my porch and I can move it up to the closer temp to get the warmth of the house where it would not hurt this plant in the cool weather. So I think it's very easy. Plus the other thing that it does to that is it extends that season longer, and it allows me to have that plant to be able to grow that vegetable longer time in the season. So container gardening is a very easy aspect of gardening. I think this is a way that a lot of people are doing. I know that I'm finding out more and more about it. I'm out here on my patio. My patio is fairly big, and I've already got in my mind what I want to do to have different types of plants up here, not only down in the gardening in the garden, but what I'm doing is that this is actually container garden is actually going to extend my season. I can easily get started early on some of my vegetables because I can transplant this to the garden or to a bigger container, a bigger pot. So that's the things that I look about in container gardening. I just think that container gardening is a very easy hobby, and it's an easy way for you to do gardening that'll help you, especially if you're not able to move around a lot, especially if you're not able to have that area like me to be able to have a raised bed. Plus the other thing is that then you can choose exactly what vegetables you want to grow and then grow it and just see what it does and everything. So I wanted to take this opportunity while I'm out here, while I'm doing my rehab, doing some gardening and experiencing in something that I haven't done before. I want to challenge you. I would love to challenge you to see that if you could maybe do container gardening. Even if you have a garden, be creative. Think of something different, a container that you can actually put in your garden. I would love to see pics if you can send them to me and everything. I would love to share your ideas of different containers or ideas that you've done for vegetables and everything. I think it would be a lot of times we just don't use the mind that God gave us and be creative and those different things. There are so many different things that you can do. Right up the road here, I thought one of the coolest things that what I'd seen was that they have small children and they have the motorized cars, and I guess the children have gotten bigger. Guess what they did with those motorized cars, the little battery operated? They've turned it into flower beds. They've actually, looks like they painted them some or they touched them up, and then they put flowers inside where the child would sit and everything. I think that's a really neat idea. It adds to the look of their lawn and their house and everything. I think that's very creative. So container garden is something that you can do, that you can use just about anything to grow. And they have so many different types of containers. They have these containers that are like towers that you can plant multiple vegetables the whole way around it and you can grow, so you continue to have it. There's so many different types. So as far as for me and what I like to do in gardening and everything, I would love just to challenge you to grab you a container somewhere, get some soil, get a mix, put your plant in there and start growing it, and send me those pics and let me see what you've been able to do and everything and what you're doing. And I think container gardening is a very effective, a very easy way. And as you watch it grow, then you can appreciate the things you've done. And talking about appreciate the things that you've done, I just want to tell you, I just thank you from the bottom of my heart to everybody that's sent me notes of just telling me that they were praying for me and thinking about me and the well wishes and everything that they've done while I'm going through the situation with my knee and everything. And I just thank you for being a part of Dave's Raised Bed Garden. It means so much to me to have you a part of this, and knowing that the things that I'm giving you, that people are actually trying and doing and everything. And I love to hear from people that are actually trying it and doing it and telling me that the little things that maybe I said that really has helped them. And it puts me in a point to where I need to be accountable for what I say to you and everything. And so I try to educate myself in the place that the things that I want to try, that you can try too and everything. So I thank you for being a part of Dave's Raised Bed Garden. Thank you for just watching my videos and everything that what you're doing. And I just want to tell you thank you. And until next time,